This is GameBro64. I am joined here today with Connie and Ted, and we're going to be going over Ted's 120 healing critical life setup for his life.
Hey guys, how's it going? It's Raging Ted with my life. Hope you enjoy the video.
Yeah. Connie, you want to say something?
Hi, this is Connie.
Raging Connie. Soon to be Raging Connie. Keep an eye on that, guys. Alright, so we're joined. Alright, so your overall setup, go ahead and just start talking about your wizard.
Well, I mostly set this wizard up, heals and stuff, and then I do have another set for him if he does need to do single fights on his own. He's mainly just a helping wizard. He's got his max crit. He's not a hard hitter. He does depend on a little more help, but as Jared will tell you, we'll let you know what's going on.
All right, so is it good to have your 6,700 and almost 50 health? Would you say?
Yes, it does. It does help with that much life because I don't have a whole lot of defense.
Okay. Do you ever hit at all on your life? Why do you have this 76 damage? Do you ever use that or touch it or anything like that?
Well, the 76 damage right now is more or less set up for the healer side of my wizard. I can set it up for higher damage on my hit outfit, but like I said, he's mostly a healer.
Okay. And you just said your resist isn't that good, but you still have a little bit there just in case. How about your accuracy-wise? I'm assuming your spells about 90% on spells, so I see you have 100% accuracy, so that's fine there. Can you go ahead and, like, on my screen it says 796 for your critical. Can you go ahead and read the exact percentage for that crit?
Yeah, that critical is at 100%.
Alright, so 796 is max crit for him. I believe 795 is actually max crit, but he got over by 1 point, so props to him. His block is only 64. Can you read the block percentage?
My block percentage is at 1%.
Okay, so the block percentage is obviously very low because he's also 120, so he did get a nerf on his block upon leveling in the New World Mirage. But as he said, this is a critical heal setup, so he's not really focused on it. And if he did take a lot of damage, he does have some resist to kind of sustain himself. And he also has almost 7,000 health, so I'm pretty sure he can tank some hits.
And to me, block is broke.
Yep.
As of now.
All right. Incoming and outgoing. Now, I'm curious because some people seem to think they want to run Jade rather than going for max critical. Why do you run max critical and lower outgoing than lower critical and higher outgoing?
When you run 100% critical on a life wizard, it doubles your ingoing and outgoing.
Okay. So you see more increased healing when you have lower incoming, higher critical rather than a lot of outgoing and like 50 or 60% chance crit. You still crit, but not as much. And so if you don't crit, you don't heal as much. Is that what you're kind of saying?
Yeah, that's my opinion.
Okay. Alright, so his armor piercing's low. Obviously, he said he was a hitter, so he doesn't really care about that much. Pip conversion, he doesn't really care about that much because he doesn't really use it. He has almost 100% power pip chance. Does that 1% ever affect you, or do you ever feel like you don't get your heal off when you need a power pip, you get a new pip and you can't heal? Has that ever affected you or anything?
Not really. I use empowerment or adept quite a bit.
Okay, so that you just regen your pips that way.
Yeah.
How about shadow pips? Do you ever use any, like the duck spell or the swan? Or sorry, Connie, the swans?
Once in a great while I will, if I get bored or something. Yeah, or if it's a good chance of using it or the right time. Yeah. No, not really.
Okay, so Connie, how about you? Do you use the duck spells or anything?
There are swans and no.
She always gets me on that. There's swans and no. Alright, so the individual hat itself, if you take a look at that, why do you specifically run this piece of gear?
Well, the hat, it gives me 168 crit.
Okay, so yeah.
Yeah, it gives me 168 crit, plus it gives me accuracy to help me not fizzle, and a little bit of resist there.
Okay. The robes standard, pretty much Malice there. Definitely one of the best robes in the game for life. Your boots. I'm curious about your boots because most people like to run like Rasputin or Old Cobb for life. Why do you run your boots?
Well, actually, I run it for a couple reasons. I run it for the accuracy, I run it for the crit, and for the outgoing. And I can also use them for my damage outfit because it gives me 24 hours.
Okay, all right, I see it. Your pet. I'm curious about your pet and how long did it take you to get that pet?
Yeah, thanks. That pet took me about 2 years to work on, and it's worth a crit to have that pet, and it does throw a heal in there in case I need it, plus another little bit of resist. Not a big fan on the light blade because I am a healer. I do use the Dryad once in a while, and my favorite spell is Sprite Swarm because if you critical on that and you have a lot outgoing, that's all you need.
Yeah. All right. The mount standard, I guess, more outgoing, assumably. If there was like a critical mount out there, would you go for it, or would you keep the 2% outgoing?
No. Well, right now I got max critical, so I wouldn't need it. So I'd rather take the 2% outgoing.
Okay. Your wand. Obviously, 181 outgoing is insane. What are your comments on that?
Well, again, that's to make up my critical and the 7 outgoing.
All right. Your dagger. Okay, so I noticed you have. All right, so obviously you have the crit jewels in there for your extra max crit. So there's nothing really to talk about that. You do have.
Well, that does give me my 16 damage for my damage outfit, and it gives me the 12 incoming and 12 outgoing.
Mm-hmm. So you would use this exact dagger for your damage setup?
Yes.
All right, so your damage setup does have 16 damage included with the dagger, but it also gives him his crit jewel, so if he was going to run more damage, he'd run a little bit focusing crit as well because he has crit socketed into the damage.
Right, and with the stun in there, I just threw that in there. It was an empty spot.
Okay. Amulet. Now, I'm curious, why do you run the flat resist on that amulet? The 21 universal flat resist.
Just, what, is socketed or the regular?
The socket, yeah.
The socket is what I had. It's just, like I said, thrown in there. If I could find another incoming or outgoing, I'd put it in.
Okay. All right. All right, so there's that. And then your ring. Now, why did you move to this ring? It's an energy ring.
This ring gives me several stuff. It gives me my incoming. Mm-hmm. It gives me that extra critical. It gives me the outgoing. And even socketed, it gives me outgoing and incoming. Plus, it gives me a little bit of energy for if I have to do any plants or anything.
Okay, so it helps out all around.
Right.
So, do you use this ring if you were in your damage setup?
No, because it doesn't have the damage in it.
Okay. So, all right, and then your deck finally tops it off. You got more accurate, or you got more power pip chance in there. I see.
Right. Well, that gives me a little bit of blocking, like usual, more critical.
Mm-hmm. And then that obvious starting pip definitely helps out getting your rebirth up quicker.
Right, and that little extra pip chance. And with the life, you more or less want to make sure you got pips to where if somebody nails you right off the start, you can heal them.
Right.
And that's why I use adept and empowerment quite a bit.